Heart First leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrated Mindset Podcast. I am Ryan Sawyer, your co-host.
With Heidi Sawyer.
And she's leaned in for the first time. Do you guys see that? There she is, leaning in.
Leaning into life.
Leaning into life. And we're on week number 11 for...
Yeah, week number 13, commitment number 11.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. And we're excited about where we are with this process. This is a conversation today about sourcing approval, control, and security, which, man, we've done some studying with this before.
Yeah. Can you believe we've been doing this for 13 weeks on this book study?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're live real fast in our deals.
It looks like we are.
Yeah. Awesome. There we are. Cool.
This
So we are doing the 15 commitments of conscious leadership, how to live above the line, below the line. It's a new paradigm for sustainable success, growth, living, connection, integration is what this is about. This is about when we begin to integrate certain parts of ourselves that feel separate. Maybe we don't even know they're feeling separate, that are unconsciously separate. This conversation today is very much so about unconscious aspects of ourselves, things that govern the human experience without our awareness. And here's the beautiful thing is when we begin this process of uncovering this and understanding how we are naturally, if we don't do something about it, we're naturally living beneath the line. Mm-hmm. Like that's where the natural human experience is. You have to consciously choose to live above the line. Mm-hmm. And this chapter to me could be a book all in itself, right?
Absolutely. This is a lifetime of work right here.
This is the lifetime of work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is like you can almost just wrap it up right here.
Yep. Yeah.
Because this is like, what else is coming up? Because
what else is there? The world as an ally.
Yeah.
That's going to be important.
Everything's for me.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So let's read the commitment and then
we'll dive in.
All
right. So the commitment number 11 is sourcing approval, control, and security. I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. I commit to being the source.
I am
my
own
source.
My own source. It's not out there.
Right.
It's in here.
So then the below the line commitment is I commit to living from the belief that my approval, control, and security come from the outside, from people, circumstances, and conditions. Okay. Meaning all of that's conditional. I'm okay if I'm accepted. I'm okay if I have control. And those are the things that make me feel secure, or we could use the word safe.
Yep.
Right. We use the word safety and feeling safe a lot in our work, but here they're saying security. We're talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so let's fundamental. Let's start at the very beginning of this conversation so we can understand what somebody means by approval and security and then control. Basically, if we don't feel secure or safe and we don't feel acknowledged or approved of, then we're going to go to work to then try to overcome that by controlling. Right? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, we were actually talking about before we popped on here, what order we're like, oh, that's interesting. The order that they put in here. Cause I think I put in a little bit different order in the title of this video, but really you could put them in any order because they're also interlinked with each other. Because like Ryan was saying, you want to have that approval and to feel that sense of security. And if you don't, then you're trying to control. But some people control as a means to feel secure.
100%.
Right. So it's it is the beginning and the end when it comes to control.
And they don't like to feel out of control.
Yeah. So it's all boiling down to this sense of safety or security and being approved of is a big part of feeling safe as a human being. We're looking for this external approval from other people or validation, or am I loved? Do I belong? Am I accepted? As a means from that deeper human experience, that more biological perspective, we're looking at that as in, if I'm rejected, then I'm out of the tribe or I'm killed.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm accepted and I get that approval, then I'm safe.
Yeah. So you look at the hierarchy of needs. I break them down into just 4. So physical well-being, food, water, shelter, touch, warmth, right? That is like fundamental to our sense of security and safety.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a roof over my head. I got food on the table. Okay, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't stop there though, right? That's first plateau survival aspect, right? Then it's connection. So feeling like we belong, like we are wired. Humans are wired. There's a whole part of our brain called the limbic system. We're wired for connection, right? We're tribal beings. We're better together, which means there's a positive and negative to that. There's 2 sides to every single coin, right? So that's great that we're better together. We desire connection. We desire, relationship and belonging and community, but that also creates this this aspect of ourselves. If we feel rejected at all, or not approved of, or not acknowledged, or not seen, really the word seen is really important here,
right.
Then we're going to feel unsafe, right? Because there's this fear, this primal fear that we're going to get kicked out of our tribe. And it's harder to survive out there in the wild by myself than it is in community, where we're all taking a part of the role of survival, of collecting food. And
let's think about this from a developmental perspective also, like babies. From early on, they learn how to get their parents' or their mother's attention, their caregiver's attention, and how to smile and do things that are going to get them the attention and acceptance and love that they need literally to survive, because they can't, go out and get food for themselves. They're totally dependent on their caregiver. So we learn that fundamentally, foundationally, from a very young age. From birth all the way on, we're put into this role as human beings as, it's important to be accepted. And depending on what kind of messaging you had growing up, it's good girls or good boys do this, and people like boys and girls who do this, and they don't like boys and girls who do these things, right? So we're kind of conditioned into that importance of being accepted.
Well, I mean, you're not saying it's good or bad, just in its awareness component. Like, how many of our youth are really trying hard to make the football team and to be a starter? Because if I'm a starter, I'm that alpha male. I then get the girls. Then now my dad's proud of me, and that makes me feel safe in the hierarchy of my tribe.
Yep, and you're in your family of origin,
right? The whole thing, right? Yeah. So, not saying it's bad. I'm just saying awareness, right?
Yeah. The more you know, the more you can grow through.
And we can consciously choose to parent from that above the line. We can teach our children how to live from above the line and have them make conscious choice. And maybe we'll share a little bit about the conversation we even had last night. I don't know if we're quite ready as a family to share that yet, but so we talked about physical well-being. We talked about connection. There's then also just having a sense of self, like integrity and authenticity of who I am in the world. I know where my role is within the hierarchy of the system, of the tribe, right? I know that I'm the hunter, I'm the gatherer, I'm the chief, whatever it may be. Like, I know where I fit. And this is an interesting component of development as well, is because when we begin to grow up and we're going through that stage of becoming a teenager and beyond, like, this hierarchy needs to naturally shift. But sometimes us as parents keep our children lower on that totem pole than they deserve to be, because they are preparing to enter into the world, but yet we don't feel like they're ready. Right. So there's sense of self, and then there's meaning or contribution and significance, that our life has purpose. Right. So these basic human needs are playing out in such a way that if they're not being met, right, we don't feel okay. We don't feel safe. And so if we can learn how to source those things, how to recognize, how to notice, it's actually noticing is the big component. And we're talking about going from desire to noticing. If we can notice how those things are already met, we can then source our own sense of being okay or safety.
Yeah.
That means then that I am not putting my sense of okay or security, like they talk about in this chapter, in something or someone, a title or role or amount of money out there in the world outside of me,
Yeah.
out there. My sense of okay is in what you think of me. Do you approve of me? Does my boss approve of me? Do I have a certain status? Right. And doing all those types of things. So it's not good nor bad, but it's just an awareness that there's two sides of the coin. Here's this part of being human, these basic human needs. These needs need to be met for us to feel okay. But yet, how much can we source that security and approval and from an inner domain rather than from out there? There's an inner world and an outer world happening, and these two things are interplaying off each other all the time. That's integration. That's what we call it, integrated human performance and integrated mindset, right? So that is what creates these basic human needs. Let me finish my thought and then we'll unpack it further. These basic human needs is what creates desire or wanting, right? Which is part of the evolutionary pulse. This is why we're here as humans. So it's a good thing that we want something to be different, that we desire more, we desire to be better. But when we are coming from a place that we're sourcing our security, our approval and control from out there in the world, we're coming from lack. We're coming from beneath the line. It creates obstacle. It creates struggle. It creates suffering.
Yeah. And we're not saying go just meditate and be okay in here and don't do anything in the world. You need to be out in the world doing your work.
Yeah.
Gotta
produce.
There's a balance, right? There's a balance there.
There's integration.
It's what you always talk about. It's that it's walking that very fine line between intention and surrender. Right. So, so we talked about the basic human needs, and we kind of define those as physical well-being, connection, a sense of self, or you could even say identity, and meaning or contribution in the world. So how do we know when we are sourcing our control, security, and approval outside of ourselves? I'll tell you how I could tell when I'm doing it is when I'm seeking to control or be approved of or validated, and it doesn't happen. We are all leaders. If you're ready to stop waiting and start impacting your environment in a powerful way, we want to connect with you. Click the Book Now link in the show notes to book a call with a Heart First coach and discover what Heart First leadership can look like in your life and in your environment. Now back to the show.
And then you feel a sense of not enough.
And it hits what we always say, it hits my stuff, right?
Hits your stuff,
it hits the stuff inside there that's not okay and secure in sourcing that for myself completely. So it hits that part of myself that believes that I need someone else's approval or I need to be in control of something for me to be safe. Essentially. So trying to think of, there's lots of examples.
Well, we let's just go a bit further and just understanding that there is also a neuroscience perspective behind this, thinking greatness. It is coming back to this fundamental aspect of being human, that desire is part of what we call the evolutionary pulse. That comes from Stephanie Fay, our neuroscience specialist. Thank you, Stephanie. You rock. And so there's this level of acceptance to no longer judge this part of being human that desires, right? We know that's the case. But we also know that wanting at a root, the meaning or definition of wanting is lack, meaning that you do not have, right? So it lights up this part of our brain, this wanting and seeking circuitry that is constantly outwardly focused, and there's never enough. And it can create a sense of disturbance or dis-ease within ourselves, right? Not
this is what our consumerist culture is built on,
right?
Okay, it's like creating lack,
right? I mean, the information we're taking in is coming in a way that's like feeding our sense of not enough. There's I'm not enough, and there's not enough, so I better go overcome. So I feel enough, so I get approved of, so I get this. Right. And then I have enough. And if I have the thing, then I'll be okay. If I have the money, if I have the title, if I have the role, if I have the, the trophy,
Right.
whatever
And
it
that's
is.
where competition's coming from too, because it's like, oh, there's
100%.
not enough pieces of the pie, so I got to go get mine.
I got to get mine. I got to be better than. I got to beat you. I'm a winner. You're a loser. See, now I'm better. Now I'm approved of. I'm accomplished, and I won the game. That's at a root competition. It's primal, right? And I'm not going to go down that. I'm not going to go down that road right now. But so what we're shifting from a neuroscience perspective, and I'm hoping I'm not botching this too much, but it's from my limited understanding of what I've studied with again, our neuroscience specialists that we've hired to help us write the program, is we take ourselves from wanting and seeking and our attention being very out there, outward focused, where there's constantly this sense of lack and not enough, and I'm not enough, and there's not enough, to what we call noticing and liking circuitry. Mm-hmm. Noticing and liking is being able to recognize that, oh, I am enough. I like my environment. I like where I am in life, right? Oh, it's raining outside. I like the sound of rain. Mm-hmm. This chair is comfortable, whatever that may be. I'm enjoying your connection, right? And so finding that balance between the two and just recognizing when we're in wanting, seeking outside of ourselves for approval, for security, for control, and we can then shift to a noticing experience where then now I'm able to recognize and like and be aware of, right? And feel safe. This is the ability to actually source your own sense of approval, security within, to meet your own needs, to be okay, and then to come from that place where you're operating from a place of abundance. Now you're operating from a place where there's going to be less struggle, less suffering. And it doesn't mean that you don't still take action. You still take relentless action. You just do it from a place of not feeling like you have to overcome not being good enough. Yeah. Right. It turns from going from competition with others, with the world. There's not enough. I got to beat you to win so I can feel approved of and I can feel accomplished
and in control.
And look at me, right? To cooperation. How can we do this together? Lift all ships, right? Like legitimately, that's going from a below the line to above the line.
So what if somebody said to you right now, okay, all right, Ryan, I'm hearing you. Okay, you're talking about this seeking, wanting and seeking versus this noticing and liking. Well, how in the heck do I stop wanting? Do they need to stop wanting?
No, you're not going to. You're human, remember? So again, it's a practice of a legitimate, for me, it's a practice of starting each day with, whether you're talking about gratitude journaling or you're just talking about being able to sit with your inner disturbances. Because whether you know it or not, there's an inner disturbance going on inside of you. Something inside of you is not okay. Right?
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean, we all know. I know, she says. We are not okay. We're trying to be okay. So
it's okay to not be
just
okay.
Notice it being okay and being okay with it not being okay.
Yeah.
And then that circuitry begins to settle, and you begin to be able to then come from a place of where you're not having to change things out there to be okay. Right. And then you can take conscious action and choice towards what you truly desire, rather than always being caught in a loop and a pattern of just trying to overcome. Yeah. So by Friday afternoon, when the week is over, you feel okay for the weekend. But then guess what? Monday comes around. Oh, God, I'm not okay again.
We just talked about this in a health choice that we recently made for ourselves.
To no longer have glasses of wine on Friday nights and things like that. Yeah, we're just like putting a stop to it. Like, just I'm done with the cycle.
Yeah, because what we recognized was that it becomes this cycle of trying to overcome breaking you broke the momentum that you had going throughout the week. And then it's like trying to start the whole thing back up again, trying to start the whole system back up again. And whatever the habit is, or whatever the behavior or way of buffering or whatever you're maybe doing that you're noticing, I mean, notice how much effort it takes to get things back in motion when you go to that place. And I think that, we can kind of identify with some of these things like, oh, this is just what I like to do. And, I work hard, I deserve this. But really, thinking about what it is that's important to you and your goals and realizing that, there's a lot of things that you can take control over to have that sense of security within yourself, and to know that you can keep moving forward and to do things that are really good, authentic choices that you approve of, because your approval is more important than anybody else's. So can you get to a place where you can start to source that approval from yourself and make choices that are aligned with that?
Yeah, because the reality of what you're saying there, if I were to try to simplify it down, the approval from out there isn't going to make you feel the way you want to feel in here.
Yeah.
And if it does for a moment, it ain't going to last.
No.
It's just not going to last, right? I mean, it's just going to last moments, days, max, right? Yeah. And so how can we come to a place where we're able to find our safe harbor, our inner sense of okayness, our sense of security and safety within here? How can we source that, right? And that's the work, being able to recognize how I can meet my own needs. What I call it, you talk about high performance. I am never at any better than I am when I'm in my center, when I don't need anything from anybody, and I am just doing my work. Like I'm just down here writing. I mean, I can't type fast enough. The creativity that flows and all these things. And I know, like, oh, I'm in my center right now. It's clear as day. Things are just like pop, 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 firing off, because I'm not worried about, well, should I be doing this? Shouldn't I be doing this? Should I be doing something else with my time? Like,
or what are people going to think of what
are people going to think, right? And what are people going to think is an interesting segue into something I want to just bring to all of our awareness. And I noticed this with myself. So I'm not preaching here. I am like, exposing something for us. Yeah. When it comes to our children, we want our children to be successful. We want them to be happy, healthy. We want them, and of course we do, right? We want them to be good at a sport or get good grades, whatever. How much of that is about them? And how much of that, and this is something for us all to be curious about, is about us being okay, because of the meaning we're going to place on it if that child of ours is playing a sport and maybe isn't given all their effort, right? We then come back and that hits my stuff, because what are people going to think about me if my child is out there picking daisies instead of playing the game, right? You know what I mean? And so, or if my child doesn't do well in school or gets in trouble, right? It's an interesting component where I think we all should pause and we should recognize how we want people, especially loved ones in our life, to be a certain way so I can be okay. Right. And I'm not saying we don't guide our children. I'm not saying we don't direct them and teach them life lessons and values. But what I'm saying is, like, how much do we want them to do well at something so then we feel accomplished ourselves as a parent, or that's my child, and now I'm proud of them, right? And that is coming back to my own approval.
Yes, and a lot of that is coming back to the programming maybe that that we receive in our own upbringing, or the messaging that we receive about what it looks like to be successful, or what it means to be approved of, and the importance that's placed on having approval of others versus the importance that we can teach our kids about approving of themselves. And coming from that place in relationship, in life and business, all of it. And I'll tell you what is the most attractive thing in the world. If you're single, if you are in a relationship, the most attractive thing that you can do is source your own security, control, and approval. And I'm not saying you tell your partner, I don't need you because I've got it all going on in here, but you just allow that your partner or whomever to be who they are, and don't expect them to meet your needs for you. Make that your job, and know that you can count on yourself to give that to yourself, or to figure out how to get that.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing I've learned. Yeah. And it's a big one, and it takes a lot of practice.
Well, and again, your sense of being okay is not out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And if you find yourself saying, well, only if they would just, only if ... fill in the blank.
If somebody would show up the way I want them to,
the government,
my kids would be,
the economy.
Yep. The way
my wife, only if my kids would just clean up their rooms. Only if.
Oh, nobody understands me. People need to understand me. No, you need to understand you.
Yeah. Only if. And again, to come full circle with this conversation and to just recognize for us, like it's no judgment, you guys. Like
we're in the arena.
It's just to know and understand that these aspects of ourselves that are sourcing approval, that are sourcing security, and then if we don't get it, we're trying to control things. If we don't feel like we have control, then we don't feel okay, right? It's all based in survival. Like it's your survival aspects of your mind. It's your limbic system. It's your amygdalas. It's parts of your brain that are overactive and flaring up because you don't feel like you're going to actually, it's like survival. I'm telling you, it feels the same chemicals, the same biological response to your body than be it in physical harm than when you get being rejected by somebody, you're not being approved of by somebody, right? Because that's going to mean I'm going to get kicked out of my tribe. Like they're hardwired into being human in such a way that if I don't get that approval, and especially if you're a father, like if you're a father and you're engaged with your child's lives, like those kids want a father's approval, like nobody else's. Why? Is because think about the hierarchy of the tribe, like, primal aspects of a man in a role in a lot of, past environments was like, he was the leader.
That's been passed down generally,
right?
Generationally.
If we don't find a way to help them source their own sense of approval, they're going to constantly be seeking daddy's approval, right? Which again, it's not all bad, but this is based in survival, right? You feel like you're going to die, right?
Yeah, it's like the girl who had the greatest daddy in the world, and now it's real hard to find a partner because I need someone to, constantly approve or meet my needs, and I haven't learned to source that for myself. That's a rocky road ahead. So these are really important things to learn. And I was talking to a friend earlier today, and she's going through some really tough stuff, about as tough as it could get. And I said, what's really interesting and what's helped me through a lot of hard times too, is just the more I can dive into understanding what it means to be human and understanding the human experience and understanding the way that our biology works, the way that our minds work,
our brains, our neurocircuitry,
the way that perception works and how I have the power to actually change how I'm perceiving things. Then the more I'm able to neutralize and normalize the experience that I'm having, and the less I feel like, oh my gosh, something's gone wrong.
Something's wrong with me.
Or something's wrong with me, or something's wrong out there. And the more peace I find within myself, because I realize, I'm just having this full range of a human experience that includes joy and laughter and sadness and grief and frustration and anger sometimes, and all of the things that we experience as beings. And I'm able to find the gift in the situation. And sometimes that's harder than others. But fundamentally, I believe that is the truth, that we can find the gift in whatever we're going through. And there's always something to learn. There's always a deeper layer that we can go with ourselves. And when you start to tap into this sourcing your own approval, control, and security, you start to be a lot less dependent on other people out there in the world, and your experience of life starts to stabilize a little bit more, quite a bit more.
Yeah. Well, and I think that to receive the gift, like what you're saying, becomes easier the more we understand the human experience and normalize it. And I legitimately... that really wasn't one of my objectives in writing the integrated mindset program, the 10-week course that we run, but it was one of the outcomes
Mhm.
As it came together and as I studied and drew all these aspects together and put them into a progression, and then as we went through it with our neuroscience specialist, with Stephanie, I was like, this is normalizing the human experience. Like,
Mhm.
this is making it so I no longer judge these things I used to judge about being
Mhm.
human. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, so when people say something to me, I'm like, oh, so you're just being human.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you're able to normalize it in a way, then you're able to be like, oh, so it's not just me.
Mhm.
I'm not alone in this.
Mhm.
This is something that all of us have to be aware of to be able to release
Mhm.
our judgment around, right?
Yeah.
And
And as we take
and then we
groups
can
of
and then we can
people,
receive it. We can receive the actual lesson or the gift and move beyond it
yeah.
to a much greater expression of ourselves.
Yeah. As we've been taking groups of people through this program, like it is amazing to see, and I was telling my friend this as well. It's like, even the group that I'm in right now, everybody is in a totally different place in their life.
Mhm.
We have things in common, but we also have a lot of different life circumstances. We have different histories. And everybody's kind of coming to the same unfolding in different ways of just realizing, oh,
Mhm.
okay,
I can let that go.
I can let that go, and I can practice these 6 C's, and I can, learn to have this control and choice in my life and look at myself and others with compassion and start to have more curiosity, and I could go on through all of them, but
Confidence, calm, and clarity.
confidence, calm, and clarity. And you do find so much more of that and deeper levels of it as you begin to practice this work. So I don't think that in the coaching world, we hear a lot like, oh, you need to niche down and work with a specific person. We work with human beings who want to understand their experience so that they can have a greater experience of life
And create the
and
ones they desire.
and
Yeah.
create the
And have the
experience of
freedom to do
life
so.
that they want to have, and change their family, change their children's lives, make generational change because they decided to do that work and do that healing for themselves. So those are just some thoughts, but I'm getting ready to start a group for women, which is coming up mid-April. So if anyone is interested in the Integrated Mindset Program, in diving deeper into the human experience in a safe space, in a small group, and exploring that together.
So you can normalize it,
Yeah.
so you can stop judging and beating yourself up, so you can
Yeah.
free yourself to have the life that you deserve.
He just said it right there. Yes. So
That's it. So reach out and talk to this woman.
reach out and talk to me. Our other coach, Barb, is also running a group. Ryan's going to be starting another group. He's got a men's group going right now. I don't know. Are you doing a men's group next round?
I'm going to start in about a month or so.
Yeah. So there's lots of options for coaches. We'll have a link where you can book a free breakthrough call with one of us. And we want to just hear about what's present in your life, what you're wanting to improve upon, and the ways that you're seeing yourself having opportunities for growth. And then we can see if it's a good fit. So I just want to thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to be talking about, let's see.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Commitment number 12.
Commitment number 12.
So we have 12, 13, 14, 15. We have only 4 more weeks of this. Yeah.
Having enough of everything. Ooh, I like it. Abundance mindset. So we're going to be talking about that next week. So tune in with us here live, and you can also catch these on our YouTube channel and on the podcast as well.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Remember, leaders go first. Alignment matters, and the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.